Hey ladies and gentlemen, what's up? Today we're going to watch a video that's quite interesting, that's going to piss off a lot of black people. So if you don't like BLM, you're gonna like this video, okay? And if you like this content or even if you hate it, look man, just like the video, comment, subscribe, it helps me. You know YouTube doesn't like me, they keep casting that YouTube. I know it's not the good one if you're an anime fan and I destroyed your Naruto thing. But at least I will not destroy you on history. So officially, let's just say this. So now that I'm in a relaxed position, before we start, remember, people think they just picked us up when we were just chilling at the beach and took us to a different beach in the Caribbean island and then to US. That's what most people think. They're forgetting something. And this video will prove to you, you have been severely educated in the weight of a victim mentality. And I don't want to stay there though, so maybe you will join me.
Television miniseries Roots by Alex Haley. Challenged on the historical accuracy of Roots, Haley said, "I tried to give my people a myth to live by." Contrary to the myths to live by, created by Alex Haley and others, Africans were by no means the innocents portrayed in Roots, baffled as to why white men were coming in and taking their people away in chains. On the contrary,
Everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks that. Which I'm surprised, as if you don't think this negotiation was happening for years and years and years, and none of these African people were like, don't go to the beach, you just disappear magically, voodoo magic, oh no. Do you think black people are so stupid they keep going to a place that keep disappearing? No, no, we don't need to watch a horror movie on the VHS and be like, okay, no, why do black people keep dying in this movie? You just stop. Somebody was capturing people and selling them. Go get reparation from them. Nobody is saying that white men didn't treat us in a way like a stupid shirt that they bought at the flea market and they didn't treat us with quality. I know, I'm not saying that, but the fact that you want to place the blame at the only person that you can see that is part of the problem, maybe you should go to the guy that actually started the problem. It's not the white man. No.
the region of West Africa from which Kunta Kinte supposedly came was one of the great slave trading regions of the continent, before, during, and
Wakanda.
after the white man arrived.
Hey.
It was Africans who enslaved their fellow Africans, selling some of these slaves to Europeans or to Arabs and keeping others for themselves.
Reparation from the Arabs and the Africans.
Even at the peak of the Atlantic slave trade, Africans retained more slaves for themselves than they sent to the Western Hemisphere. This pattern was not confined to West Africa, from which most slaves were sent to the Western Hemisphere. In East Africa, the Maasai were feared slave raiders, and other African tribes, either alone or in conjunction with Arabs, enslaved their more vulnerable neighbors.
Look man, I got some cool Arab brothers, you know, mashallah. Hey, life is Gucci, bro. We okay. We know the holy war might come soon in the future, but I still can make friends, you know. Chill, life is Gucci. I'm not here blaming them. I don't eat pork in front of them. I don't troll them with the pork. I don't troll them with the headband. I don't troll them with anything. All I'm saying, officially, you should go after the Arabs and the Africans. Officially, if we're talking about the original sins. Because before this whole freaking thing started, what? You want to go after Genghis Khan for all the damage he did to other cultures that are trying to flourish because they ravaged the whole freaking country? Come on, man. You can't be that special. But sadly, you are.
As late as 1891, it was reported that Manyuema slavers had demoralized surrounding tribes, destroying crops, and famine reigned everywhere. Even in the early 20th century, Abyssinians were still raiding other Africans and carrying off slaves. It was 1922 before the British had gained sufficient control in Tanganyika to stamp out slavery there.
Oh.
Arabs were the leading slave raiders in East Africa, ranging over an area larger than all of Europe. The total number of slaves exported from East Africa during the 19th century has been estimated to be at least 2 million. Despite the impression created by roots, during the era of the massive slave trade from West Africa, a white man was more likely to catch malaria in Africa than to catch slaves himself. The average life expectancy of a white man in the interior of sub-Saharan Africa at that time was less than 1 year.
Now tell me if that is not the truth. How many times do we see certain people of white race become sick so freaking easily, and most black people, at least the young people that eat healthy food like me, very natural, especially when I was a kid, I was never sick. And I always thought, so the health might have effect what we eat? That's kind of interesting. So that would also mean it would make sense that a white man can go to Africa. I'm gonna die. Whoa, with sickness. Oh no, it's dangerous. I don't want to go there. Hey man, I'm not going there to buy those people, but bring me some, and we will take them back to the other island where we seem to be safe. Because remember, white men went to somewhere around Brazil, visit some Indians, disappeared, go back to Europe, came back, and everybody died. Nobody know where they disappeared. Check that box. And it happened. And now that we have the technology, we take pictures, we see there's a whole freaking society under the ground, right? And they're like, what? There was a civilization over here? What happened? You infected them with chickenpox. Yes, it happens. But hey man, you can't assume that white men just came there, I'm with the vaccine, and they just went there and get all the black people. They couldn't even enter for a long time. If you go check all the books and everything, all the travelers in the books, they didn't survive. I come from an island called Curaçao. If you, I don't understand that language. It's Cura. I think if you're Cura, even if you don't understand English, you're like, sounds like something like healing. Because if you play an RPG, it's called Cure. If you play Final Fantasy, it's called Cura. So you get an idea. It was called the Healing Island. Everybody that was supposed to die and is eating the food, they dumped them on my island and then left. And then they came back, they're like, what, you cute? Back to work and back to slave work. That's how gangster it was. So people traveling in boats, they didn't have a high level of survival. It was bad, people. So going to a freaking Africa place with more diseases, nobody wanted to go there. Nobody wanted to go in deep. It's not easy to reach Central Africa. That's a fact. Even now. Do your freaking research. No reparation unless it's from Arabs and Africans.
By and large, men from Europe or the Western Hemisphere came to the coasts of Africa, bought their slaves, and left as soon as possible.
Vacation.
Even so, the death rates among the white crews of the ships carrying slaves to the Western Hemisphere were as high as the death rates among the slaves themselves. It was only much later, after quinine and other medical measures enabled Europeans to survive where there were tropical diseases, was it possible for them to invade Africa in force and establish empires there. But by then, the Atlantic slave trade had already been ended. During the era of that trade, Africa was largely ruled by Africans, who established the conditions under which slave sales took place.
So these people are kinda like the master. They started this whole freaking thing. You don't wanna accept it, I get it, but it happened. And it sucks, yes, I know, it sucks. But I don't want any white male to feel responsible for the person that sold them to us when it was a normal thing back in the day. It was normal. So even if they didn't sell us, they would have sold us to the Arabs. I might have been born in Arabladia or somewhere in Africa. The dark white people. I don't know, man. Well, actually, no, I would still be black. Because the only reason I'm kinda mulatto is because the island Curaçao, before there were black people, there were Irish people. There were a lot of Irish slaves. These Irish women, they were used with the African to make the mix that has the both gene to be more gangster, harder worker. We can adapt to all the temperatures and everything, and we got gangster muscles too. So it wasn't a gangster advantage. Does it suck? Yes. But hey man, I was surprised that when I did a blood test that I was like, you got weird blood, a lot of white blood. That doesn't make any sense. And once I made a baby, I realized that once my brother and me made a baby with a white woman, they were way light skinned than anybody else that made a baby with a white woman. Then I thought it was kind of weird that both of us have the same issue. It seems we had way more white blood in our body. That's how it works. That's life. You learn and you go with the flow. You don't go blame people.
The crew of a slave ship was in no position to defy African rulers and their armies by going out across the land and capturing people willy-nilly.
Of
The
course.
stronger African peoples captured
Look
and
at that!
enslaved the weaker peoples. The same pattern found over the centuries in Europe, Asia, the Western Hemisphere, and Polynesia.
Look, man, we live in a very safe world. And I know that. I know that. But if I was in a position that I was a slave in freaking Africa, who am I to be bought by somebody else and be like, hey man, I deserve something different? Look, man, I would have been in Curacao, United States if they took my ancestor there, Brazil, or with the Arabs or whatever. Who knows? Anything could have happened. The fact that a lot of people are descendants of slaves, but nobody is asking for reparation at the level that people are suggesting, I'm like, what do you mean? Because that is why people also say black people cannot be racist. I'm like, why? Because we don't have the effect that you or the white people have with racism. So it's like a woman can slap you, but it's a woman. Because she can't hit you that hard. So she can go flack, 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 flack. That is how they suggest this is normal. And I'm like, nah, bruh. If you want to stay there, Gucci. But don't change the whole freaking system saying that you're advocating for me. And when I try to do something to survive in this world, all you can bring is negativity, 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 negativity. And I'm like, dude, do something about it. Hey, man. Don't be a coon. Hey man, don't join them. Be here miserable with me. I'm like, no. I'm gonna do something about it. Coon, traitor. You're abandoning your race. What? Your wife is white? What? You want your race to die? What? Where you from? Curacao? Oh, you're from a third world country. When the amount of people that told me that I've come from a third world country, and who am I to give an opinion? What I really like to ask all these black people, especially in US, why do you feel so offended when I pretend like I'm an African as if you have come also from Africa? Why does it piss you so much? Why don't you put the clothes on of the African people as if you're proud to be African? No, it's not that. You don't want to be anything representing to black people. And if I have to be honest, most African people, when they come here, they are way respectful and they don't even like the black people that black people represent. They don't like it. Oh, cool, maybe a little, yeah, gangster 50 Cent. But they don't really like it because the way they see family is at a totally different level than most people in US. And I know, because most African people actually live a very Gucci life. Especially those family oriented, oh my god. The university, oh, they can go big. Come on, man. Don't tell me. There's a weird stigma, especially with very dark-skinned people. Oh my god. Black people can be racist too. So, you want to ask reparation? Maybe you need to do some research and stuff, I don't know, like the previous video that I just did. Oh, white people are taking up space by holding hands. Miss me with that, bruh. Go find a good reason. Look at these people. They have a reason to tell me you were a slave. Your ancestors were betas. If the white man did not come and pick you up, you cannot tell me you would have been in a better position. You would not, because if you say that, that's like me saying, you know what? Why don't you do an exchange with somebody in Africa right now? And if you say no, then I win, because you know you don't want to be a slave descendant in Africa. You're freaking in a Gucci place, brah. Come on, man. You can't be that special.
In Nyassa land, the Ngoni and Yao swaggered over and terrorized other tribes. In Uganda, the Baganda made life miserable for their neighbors, and the Nyoro and Hima of Ankole enslaved Toro women and children. The
Wow.
Tutsi dominated the Hutu in Rwanda, the Maasai lorded it over the Kikuyu and Kamba, and the latter, in turn, held the Indorobo in a kind of serfdom. It was precisely the fact that Europeans, except for the Portuguese, seldom participated in the raids that captured and enslaved Africans that enabled most people in Europe and the Americas to remain oblivious to the traumatic experience that this was, with some Africans committing suicide to avoid capture and
Damn.
wives being whipped as they tried to cling to their husbands or children. Historian David Breon Davis pointed out that Europeans had little contact with the actual process of enslavement, and that as late as 1721, the Royal African Company asked its agents to investigate the modes of enslavement in the interior. Europeans typically saw only the end results, enslaved people being offered for sale on the coast. It was much the same story in the Ottoman Empire, where those who bought slaves had no idea what these slaves had been through before.
I'm only saying the original sin is not exactly what you believe it is. If you were a slave descendant, that doesn't mean it started with the one that bought you. It started with the one that captured you. And if you want to blame the one that bought you, you made sure I was there. Look, man, I don't care where you were. I have a different mentality. I suffered a lot in the beginning and I did everything by myself, right? So when you keep blaming other people or whatever, that's like doing a job at a big business and somebody did a job way better than you, and when the job is like, oh, business bad, we need to fire some people, and your boss fires you, you're like, what? That's unfair. That's victim mentality. No, I'm sad. I don't have a job. You fired me. It's your fault. No, reparation. It doesn't work like that, dude. It doesn't work. My father told me one thing, and it's something that sticks to me, that I always thought this guy was so stupid, but he simplified everything in a way that he's always right, even after his death. And he tells me, look, man, when a lion chases you, you should run faster than the lion. You should run faster than the other person. And it's fact. It's really fact. Life is hard, but you can't stay there and think what's gonna happen. Because you can be autistic, but if you run faster, you're still alive. You have to choose your battle. And if you see battle everywhere, and you're always stressed, look, man, you can be the nicest person, but I don't want to be reminded of your problems 24/7 if you're not doing anything to fix it. But there's nothing I can do to fix it. I know there's a lot of issue, but in my experience, wherever you are, consistency does change the possibility of how life is, right? And if I'm a lucky example, good. But when I tell people what I did to reach this lucky life that I have, you know, that keep telling me, yeah, but not everybody is like you. Well, I'm not going to change the world because everybody is not like me. And I'm not going to advocate for you. Well, when I prove to you that I didn't want to be with you down there. I didn't want to be the victim with you down there. I hated it. You know why? Because I had nobody. I had nobody to lean on. The people were calling me the F word. The fakatri. Yeah, the gangster word that you're not allowed to say on YouTube. They called me that. I wasn't alpha enough. Nobody liked me. I wasn't the white. I wasn't the black. I didn't have a mom. So I was always a plan B for everybody. I wasn't a plan A for nobody. I had to survive on my own. And when you don't have an option, you will go forward. You know? I was like the Will Smith that decided, you know what? Haha, good joke. Hey, wife, it's a bad thing, but we'll handle it later. I was that Will Smith, not the one that went, Anyway, people, I think I said enough. They want to make the video too long. It is already. But hope you enjoyed this. You found this informative. And if you have anything that you want me to watch other than those politics that I do sometimes, let me know. Send me the videos and I'll do the reaction. You can find all my socials in my link tree and everything, or in the description. Click, boom, boom, inform. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Devido-me a tua iniciativa, padrei ku indica e também que sum sativa. Te ainda não que aceitar ku eta medicina, Bob di nang di eta causa rebeldia. Ku quem